I love the fidelity of fake hard drive noise. Hello, viewers. I'm SB. Welcome back to Last Call BBS, where today we have lots of new games to play still, and I'm gonna do a better job at them. Well, maybe we'll see. So first of all, let's go ahead and dial in here, and we can get the next game started while we look at this. Building action figures thing, or building models. It's like it sounds like it's a Gunpla thing, right? So we had gotten Hobby Studio. I guess there's a second Solitaire game. There's a lot of Solitaire around, but I've never seen one quite like this. A totally unique design that's played with traditional Japanese kabufuda cards. A fun challenge if you've gotten too used to your built-in Sawayama Solitaire. Expert mode is tough but doable. Okay, nobody said life was going to be easy, is what I have to say about this Solitaire game. Let me, apologies if this is coming through. The microphone was in a really weird position because I probably knocked it over last night. All right, let's pull that down and we'll check out the Hobby Studio. Yeah, didn't figure that was going to take very long. Okay, right, can't just double click on stuff because old windowing toolkit rules. Okay, very dramatic is the thing. One of my coworkers used to enjoy this robot cartoon show called Steed Force, which he first saw on TV growing up in Brazil. Hold on a second. I'm gonna tab out of here and just... There it is. I'm just gonna turn this down a little bit. I don't know if it's loud for you. Oh, that's a lot more than I meant. I don't know if it's loud for y'all, but it was kind of loud in my headphones. Okay. Later, he had the idea it'd be fun to build some of the models with his son, but importing the kits from Japan was impossible unless you were willing to pay crazy amounts of money to have someone there ship them to you. And this was before you could just order whatever you wanted on the computer. Yeah, things used to be a lot worse. Here's the thing about the old ways. They sucked ass. That's why we had to invent the new ways. But instead, he made something just as cool or maybe even better. A complete model building simulation based on the show. Okay. Well, we just pick a kit and go. I mean, I kind of like this. This is a mech design that really appeals to me. Let's play with this one. Oh, they're still on the sprues? I actually do really like the part where you remove the parts from the sprues. How do I, are there instructions? Tips. Press tab. Ah, there's a tools window. When using the masking tape. Oh, man. Use the paint wash to darken panel lines after... Okay, so here's the thing I've never been good at. Oh, it actually is kind of satisfying. It's not as good as doing it in real life. The pop as the plastic breaks, as the little... I don't know what you call the intentionally thinner, weaker part that connects the bit of the model to the sprue is called, but the pop as that breaks is tremendously tactily satisfying. The sound effect they've chosen to go with this here is very good, though. What a weird thing. I am so disappointed that we are running out of Zachtronics. Do I have to put this down so I can move the... Can I put these... I'm not allowed to like box select these, am I? No. Yeah, we can just kind of plug the ones that obviously go together here. Snap those in. It is very good, is the thing. This probably goes... Well, hold on. Yeah, let's pull this over here. Can I move the... Yeah, let's move the tools window. I do wish I had a little bit more desk space to work with, although I guess that is also a remarkably accurate recreation of the model building feel. But I am so sad that Zachtronics is closing for very much this kind of reason. Like, who else is going to do something like this? Who else is going to put this level of love and care into something like this? I have a little story. This is something that I was talking to my partner, my local partner, about yesterday, actually. It's something I realized. The story of me doing, like, I did not just wake up one day and decide, hey, I'm going to be an influencer. If you know anything about me, you know that would be like, that's a very out of character for me. That's One Piece, isn't it? Yeah, okay, cool. I'm just going to move a bunch of stuff over here. Because I am very socially awkward and I don't do well with people. And the story of me deciding to start doing Let's Plays and YouTube stuff is kind of weird and complicated, but Zachtronics is actually a pretty critical part of it, because the reason I have a YouTube account in the first place is because of SpaceCam. It's very common, if you're not familiar with Zachtronics games, maybe you don't know this, it's very common for Zachtronics games to have an export to GIF function. Do not yell at me about the pronunciation of that word. The G in graphics is a hard G, and I don't care what the person who came up with the acronym says. These look like they snap to something, but not to each other. Are there instructions for... Yeah, okay. Oh, boss. This is wonderful. What I really want to do is continue clipping, but we're running out of space very quickly here, so it might behoove us to close up some of these parts. It's very common for Zachtronics games to have an export to GIF function for the... I should probably actually reopen the tools. Sorry, that was silly. Tab. Tab is the key. Because I should put down the clippers. But SpaceCam did not have that. SpaceCam had instead an export to video button. And I think it has GIF export now, but it didn't then, or it's something like that. This sits in here, but it's not gonna... Okay, so this is supposed to plug onto the bottom of this bit. We don't have this pelvis piece yet. No, I don't have this thing either. Anyway, my point is, at the time, SpaceCam had the ability to upload directly to YouTube. That was how I was sharing solutions back then. Because if you're going to play a Zachtronics game, it is especially good to play it with somebody, to have somebody else who is also doing it at the same time, one of your friends, and to like share solutions and be like, hey, look at this wacky thing I did. And the GIF export facilitates that. But the YouTube export also did a great job of it, and some of the levels in SpaceCam are a little bit complicated. A YouTube video is perhaps better suited to the task. So I first made a YouTube account solely for the purpose of uploading my SpaceCam solutions to share with the two friends of mine who were also playing SpaceCam. And that it is because I had a YouTube account already, because it was convenient, that I ended up doing the thing that sort of indirectly caused a bunch of people to, well, no, directly, but it is because of that it was easy for me to do the thing that that ended up getting a bunch of people subscribed and gave me the idea for maybe, hey, this is a thing I could try to do. What are these pieces? Should I have left things on the sprue a little bit until I had read more of the... I mean, the manual's not super instructive, to be frank. All right, let's finish clipping. Let's finish clipping. I think we have just a couple of large pieces left. Not great to have the sprues overlapping like this, apparently. Well, I said we had a couple of large pieces left. I guess there's also a bunch of tiny, weird pieces that I don't know what they are, but I do want to get the sprues clear, so let's reclaim a little bit of desk real estate, shall we? is this still connected to? Oh, sure. Yeah, maybe I should finish chopping that out. Also this thing over here. Oh, these are something, it turns out. I have no idea what. The I have no idea what is an important part of the process too. I don't know. Looking at a thing and going, looking at the thing and then looking at the picture on the box and going, what the hell is this? Time-honored tradition. I've never done any Gunpla specifically, but I have built many other things. So these big, huge pieces, are these... Show me the model again. These are... They're not part of the leg. They're not angled correctly to be part of the leg. I guess what this... A thing that this... this version of playing with the hobby kit does that the real world doesn't is it automatically preserves the the rotation of the pieces, which gives you a lot of extra information. So, okay, this bit on the top of this page. Let's work with this for a moment. So this thing plugs into this thing. Let's get you down here. Then we have this bit that I thought was maybe like Spalders or something, but apparently just plugs in right down here. What even are you? Are you the feet? Yes, these are absolutely the feet. Okay. I very much like this big chunky unit design. So I'm looking for this bit now. And I have a lot of things in front of me. Ah, here we go. This is the thing with the appropriate rotation. I don't know what the hell all these are. These little beads. Is this thing really like festooned with tiny spheres? Oh, they're okay. I see. You know, it would probably be to my benefit to get these all attached, just so I don't have a bunch of tiny objects that are constantly in the way. A long childhood of playing with Legos has made me very good at the read the instructions and plug the bits together part. The painting still kind of eludes me. A lot of my like Warhammer 40K paint work is very poor. Something I've kind of always been fascinated by, people who are good at it. Okay, that'll make this area a little bit cleaner. So these look like they're supposed to be the vents in the upper part of the knee, or the lower part of the knee, the upper part of the bottom of the... So we can just snap these in where they go as well. Get those clear. While I'm looking at it, we have these parts right here that kind of want to be near each other. This is the outside part of the foot. Let's get this over here. This goes over here. Wait, does this not plug? There it is. Okay. Oh wait, this is not the correct rotation of this part. That's the other side of this foot. So just leave this down here. This is what plugs in there. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm getting a little distracted. I guess these are the hands, right? And this is the forearm. Oh, but there's a bit that goes on the end. Do we have that bit? There it is. This fits in the hand. Where is my other robot hand? Here we go. It's supposed to, the hand's supposed to have like a back though. We know that that piece must go over there somewhere, but we cannot at all see that it exists on either the model or the instructions. Okay, let's get back to work on this thing. So after, oh, there isn't another part in the way. This just snaps right onto there. And then this will plug into the, okay, that's not fully right. There's still another big toe. Right? That's what this is supposed to be, a giant robot toe. There we go. That's a whole functional foot, which means that we can slap this one the rest of the way together as well. Okay, we've got a foundation for our cool robot. So, is the leg assembly on here? It is not. We're just gonna have to figure that out from looking at the picture. Again, this is very familiar to me. So this is gonna be like this bit here. This is gonna be this part. Okay, these do snap together. There we go. I thought I had tried to snap those together before, but I must not have done it correctly. So then we have these outer plates. These aren't the inner plates, are they? No, these are the wrong size. Are these? Oh yeah, these are totally fits. This is just such a cool, I love this kind of mech design. I have not watched as much mecha stuff as I might like, but I definitely know what appeals to me. People have told me on many occasions that I would probably enjoy some of the Gundam series. I gotta be honest with you, this is an opinion that sometimes gets me in trouble on the internet, but I'm gonna say it here because I trust you. No, obviously that's a joke. Please don't parasocial me. Here, these are the upper leg bits. Do these snap on? No, there's another connecting piece, but let's get these over here. Anime in general just kind of puts me on edge. I feel like there's a lot of very bad anime out there. Oh, these pieces are the knee joints, right? No, actually, the rounded bits that I'm seeing are already on here. What are these? Are they this part maybe? They fit into the arms and they're like points of articulation? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. We're getting there. We're closing it up. So what is the bit that plugs into here? Because it is like this, right? But there's absolutely a central connecting piece. We have this like line. What looks like that? Among the things we have here, what looks like that? Maybe it's two pieces fitted together. I mean, a thing we can do here is we can go back to the top. Just start building from the top. And then whatever we have left will be the piece that fits in there. These look like they fit together. I don't have any idea what those are. Okay, let's talk torso assembly, huh? We have, I think at this point, a lot of the pieces for that. There we go. And in fact, we almost have enough things clear to just leave the manual on the screen full time, which is very satisfying. Let's just, we'll get the arms over here. We can live with a little bit of overlap. All right. So these things are obviously covers for that. Okay, so the arm assembly, we're up to here. So there's this bit that snaps on. Yeah, cool. And then these go into, there's like a ball joint socket that we then snap this stuff over top of. There we go, 2 functional giant robot arms. We have so many little snappy pieces here that I have no idea what to do with. And then all of this stuff fits onto... Where are those bits with the pegs? What is this? Where's this part? It's not this peg. It's whatever this goes over top of. So what is the right... I don't have anything under the manual anymore, and I cut everything off the sprues. This is the part in the project where I would definitely be looking at all of the sprues again to make sure I didn't miss anything. Probably a lot of the time this involves me picking stuff out of the trash, going, shit, I shouldn't have thrown stuff away until I was done. Oh, these are the big pegs. I was looking for a larger piece that had the peg on it. But oh, these just snap into the sides of the missile bays. I see. And then these go on here. Okay. Yeah, we're getting there. What is the bit that goes on the front of this? This is tricky because there are pegs facing us, which means that the holes for these pegs are on the back of a piece. What is this? Where on the model does that piece appear? Okay, that's below the head. So that probably snaps on here? Yeah. That means this is the slot for the head. So these things are on the outside of like the hip area. Does this just plug in here? Or is there another connector bit? There must be another connector. It's so hard to know once you get to this point. Do these fit together? Yes, they do. Once you get to this point where there's a lot of connectors that must necessarily be hidden by the fact that we can't rotate anything, it's pretty hard to know what goes where. This is the piece that goes here. So we have these like pipes that come out of the bottom of these things. Really, they snap onto the tops of these bits, which will then sit in that position, like here. There we go. So those go on there, and then this... see, yeah, there's a... If we could rotate this thing 90 degrees, it would have been obvious where the socket was for that. So yeah, this ends up sitting about here. We're just missing the center part of the joint. I mean, it needs a connector. This is the bit with the line on it. Okay. The physical reality of the pieces. This is such a weird, fascinating level of abstraction. Like a digital representation of a digital representation of a physical process. And then you are just expected to remember the physical rules of the object if it were a thing that you were actually touching. Okay, so then this is gonna go. Yeah, these are the outside parts, and this pegs into here somewhere. Cool. What the fuck are these? Oh, they're its little ears. I see. You might wonder why I included this program, since it's not really a game in the strict sense of the word. I mean, it's a process of assembly that really does not feel dissimilar from building the food preparation thing to me. Like there's still that process of having to look at, you know, in the food thing, it's look at the desired outputs. In this, it's look at the manual. But the idea is still figure out where things need to go and then figure out how to connect them so that they actually do go there. It all feels pretty similar to me. It's more like a toy or some kind of weird simulator without any particular goal. I guess the reason is I was just so impressed by the lengths this guy went to making all of this art and everything, and then releasing it all for free just because he wanted to build some model kits with his kid. I think that's such a great expression of the creativity of that early computer era. There weren't nearly as many rules or commercial pressures. You could just make a fun toy, and that was the whole point. I really, really, really do miss that kind of thing. Apparently, oh yeah, we're totally past our 15 minutes. Let's just download the next thing. Exbuch, the Forbidden Path. This looks like a spell that you would cast in Zork. Grow weird flesh sculptures in order to escape death. I don't think many people played this game when it came out. The ideas and presentation are pretty out there. I am so excited for this. Honestly, though, it's worth the experience, even if it's a little hard to figure out. Lots of folks are scared by the idea that they might not be around forever. Are you? How far would you go in the quest for immortality? The answer is probably deeply terrifying. Okay. Anyway, we're going to get to all the other stuff. First, we're going to paint this robot. What do y'all think? I like this one, honestly. I mean, we could kind of just do whatever. We do have a pretty limited supply of paints. I'm assuming... I wonder if the paints you have access to are different with each... Oh, it's actually an airbrush tool. I was fully expecting this to be a... That is so weird. What a choice to make. I was fully expecting this to be just like a paint bucket thing. So, okay, I'm gonna sort of messily paint, airbrush the whole top part of this model, and then we're gonna have to paint these other colors over it anyway, right? Can I... There isn't an adjuster of any kind, is there? No, mouse wheel doesn't do anything. Like I said, I do not know how to use paint in real life. It feels like there must be an adjuster. Hold on. Oh, there's decals, right? Some of the decals. So like, but no, this bit that's supposed to be yellow on here is not decals. You are expected to paint this. Absolutely terrifying. Dedicated to all Steed Force fans who cannot obtain the model kits. One day we'll get our hands on them. Oh, because I picked another color. I was like, how did I miss a bit there? But I didn't miss a bit. I just painted it over with a different gray. I don't know that I'm going to paint the whole thing. Honestly, part of the reason that I'm better at the figure out how it fits together and fit it together thing, and worse at the painting, is probably that I am less interested in the painting. As much as I think like it's a fascinating art, and I'm really impressed by people who can do it. I think I don't care about it so much personally. I don't care about like doing it. It's not as fun for me. It's a little bit more fun here. I do appreciate this. This is so much easier than doing it in real life. Yeah, and then you go for like the darker color in here, and also I've never owned an airbrush. It might be that I would have more fun doing this in real life if I had an airbrush. I really dig like the dithering that they do to, man, what a cool thing in the universe of this other cool thing in the universe of this other cool thing. I think we're gonna go ahead and just call it there for this model build. I will come back to, actually, I don't know. This may not save. Here's a question. Did that export a GIF in here? No. Okay, it just put it on my real life hard drive. Okay. I was kind of curious if it would use the desktop inside the thing. This looks dope. We're gonna check the Solitaire game out first. Okay, I guess we can only do easy. So let's do the one that I'm allowed to do. Here's a problem. I don't know what these cards... How do you read these? Show me the rules. Matching cards can be stacked and moved together. Unite 4 matching cards to collapse them into a locked stack. Locking a stack on the tableau will unlock a free cell if available. Free cells can store a single card or a locked stack of 4. To win, unite all of the cards into 10 locked stacks. Pardon me. So, okay, it doesn't matter that these cards don't make any sense to me because we're not counting. We're just matching visually. Okay. So if I move this up to one of these things, we can snap that. And then once they're oh no, they don't move together until they're all actually together. Well, we can do this. And the faster you're snapping things together, the less room you have to play with. So maybe it was not a good idea to do the thing I just did. You can't move things onto stuff that isn't their match. Let's snap these together. So I can't put a stack in here, right? It's single cards. Okay. Where are the rest of these? In kind of inconvenient spots, honestly. But I want to free these two. I shouldn't have built this here, because we need to get these two onto that. Shoot. Shoot and crap and damn it. Okay, let's... So we can do this, we can do this. Then if we put this here, turn that into a locked stack. Am I allowed? I can just lock one of these up. I think that's fine. Because we just need to get this free so that it can go there. And then those work together. We can use this to kill that space, allowing us to do this. I don't know what your deal is, but you're in the way. See, this is awkward. These two card types are mutually trapping each other. Well, okay, if I burn the last one of these, we can break the mutual trap. And do that. That would in fact have been a nightmare if we had had any fewer than the full 4. For me, the best part of working for Sawayama was going to Japan. I'd always wanted to go. I'd read some books and so on, but I couldn't afford the plane ticket on my own. So I was very happy that I got to go there several times, even though it was for business. It might sound a little trite to say I really loved everything about Japan. The food, the subways, the neon signs at night, the temples in the morning. But it's the truth. It was delightful every time. And it was on one of these trips that I met an amazing lady named Meredith, who at the time worked in the Tokyo office as a translator. I mean, like, the note told us that we were going to get a people story, right? I actually really dig that. This is like excavating somebody's life through the things that they did with their time, and it's a fascinating concept to me. Are these buttons? Do these do? No, these don't do anything. I mean, let's try a medium game, and then I really want to go. I want to do the weird flesh game, but we'll play one more of these. This is such a cool collection, I guess. I'm really having a wonderful time with this. This is a weird board state. How do we untangle this? So, a lot of these bits these cards are buried really deep. These ones are... Wait, I only see 3 of them. Where's the one I'm missing? So there's this... Oh, there's one at the top of this stack, too. Also awkward. Okay, we can do a little bit of consolidation here. I'm trying to figure out what makes the most sense to uncover. Of these 3 locations, which one do we want to be the location that holds all 3 of these, you know? We're not going to be able to finish this group until very late in the game. We could move this off of here. So I think I want to uncover that. What about this? So one of these is right here. I think I want to uncover that too. So let's put these all over here. Then we can... I want to get rid of these. I'm just going to put this up here for now. And then if I move this over to here, I'm trying to get at the fourth one of these. This is another one of those weird situations where the diagonal line piece is holding down this one, but this one is also holding down the last diagonal line piece. I guess here, we can do this. We can just untangle these a little bit for free. And then... Here, I can make a little, like a temporary move here where we do that and then put all these together. And having done that has unlocked our 4th space, which is actually super valuable, right? And so I could just close it again. I think that's okay to do. Just get this out of the way. Then we can move these over to here to free up some of that. Where's the 4th one of these? Okay, it's at the top of this stack. The 4th one of these is in there. The 4th one of these is in there, so we can actually... Okay, we can make that happen. This is really... Yeah, kind of an awkward spot right now. Okay, how about this? I'm going to pull this stack apart for a moment to consolidate some of this stuff together. We're going to kill this stack, and that lets us also kill this stack. And now this stuff is mostly pretty free, but I have to get us down to here or we're in a lot of trouble. In fact, we're in a lot of trouble. In fact, did I... Because we can only put things on top of things that are matching, right? So I think I killed us. Pretty sure I killed us. Yeah, because we don't have a spot to take these. I needed to have a spot to unwind these into so that we could pull stuff off to correct. Yep, I do believe I buried a bunch of our pieces in places where we can't recover them. I was really close to this working too. Okay, that was bad play on my part. We're going to go ahead and close that because I really do want to see the forbidden path. This seems very much like my shit right here. Cracked by element 1. Hooray! This is cool. And the pieces move with the mouse cursor. I really am very nostalgic for this era. The Forbidden Path. A lot of these games are a lot nicer looking than I would have expected a game from the time to be. And I don't know, it's probably the case that these are all things that could have existed, but pilgrim who seeks the forbidden path, do not be afraid. All will be revealed. You have suffered much to come here. The fear of death has compelled you. It often does. That's a powerful one. Now you will build the immortal body. Now you will work the immortal flesh. I guess in a sense that's what I'm doing here. Huh. Okay. So this piece, this is what we're trying to build. Grow the seed into this. So question mark. Yep, I agree. Definitely question mark. Seed, skin. Oh, this is fascinating. What do I... Okay, so this is a thing we can do. How do I, like, it feels like I want to end turn and then make another move afterward. Do I have to... So we have a target and we have a reaction. Oh, oh, I see. So we're setting up a bunch of different... Oh. I'm building like an instruction chain. Okay, I have a thought. Let me try something here. So wait, these instructions on the bottom, why didn't this get followed? Oh, because that's also... sorry, we don't need this yet. Hold on. What I want to do now is down. Yeah. And then seed specializes to flesh. So it's showing us a time lapse. This is really weird. This is so cool. This is a weird one. By a strange set of circumstances, I met this guy named Tanner, who'd been a movie producer in Hollywood. Even though he was pretty high up in the film world, he was completely convinced that interactive media was the future, so he wanted to get into computer games. Well, it sounds like Tanner has some foresight. He'd call me wanting to know what the new Sawayamas could do on a technical level. I think he appreciated the way I explained it, or at least tried to explain it, even when he asked about virtual reality or ray tracing or whatever other sci-fi buzzwords he'd heard. Ray tracing is a ridiculous idea. Okay, just do this. Just make it meat. What if a waffle, but entirely flesh? Okay, so... Yes, seed up is first reaction. Then also seed down. And then we're going to need seed left and seed right. And we have to do it this way because if we try to extend it any other way, the connections are going to be all wrong. Okay, and then we specialize the seeds into a particular kind of flesh, which then must be specialized further into this. Obviously, how else could it possibly work? This is so weird. So you can mouse over the different bits. Huh. What is this? No, please do not reset. Take the win. Clear the puzzle. Seems like a pretty short game. So, seed becomes that, becomes this. I mean, this one seems pretty straightforward. You know, the genetic seed just turns into bone. Obviously. Specialize into this basic bone structure so you can become this totally wicked bone structure. And that's a spine, baby. Oh, except we're not supposed to fill up the top tile. Never mind. I done goofed. How do we make it not fill the space as much as possible? Because I need it to go up from its initial state, but not so up. Like, this is good, but then we need it to stop. How do I issue a stop command? We're going to have to slide everything to the right here because we're going to need some kind of cut it out in this space. Seed. Ignore? That doesn't do it. If I make this an ignore, well, I mean, that does exactly what I would think it would do. And then if we make this an up, it's going to fill the space entirely. Interesting. How do we make it not do that? There's no stop. There's no undo. There's no empty a tile. As far as I can tell. But like at least one of these things must be possible. Oh. Wait, if I have it begin to specialize at this, no, this is too early. Let me reset DNA. Do these buttons, oh, these do something. Hold on a second. Let me issue a command here. Maybe they're 4 different pages, or they're four different like places where you can hold a plan. Okay, so if the second instruction, no, it doesn't stop it from spreading because it starts to transform it from the initial seed and then grows outward from there. And if I reverse these, yeah, it will never grow at all. You can, in theory, have the bone bit grow. But I mean, that doesn't really do anything. I mean, okay, so this bit can't grow. This material. I wonder if the idea is that you do a transformation at the right time. Okay, so like if we do that, and we have bone go up. No, because again, it doesn't you can't arrest it here by having the whole structure turn to the final bone at once, because the change grows outward from the middle. And if I do this, it simply won't go anywhere at all. And we can't urge the bone to grow. I know, I hear it. Listen, you're just gonna have to... We're all gonna have to be adults about this. Interesting. I have no idea how to approach this. Okay, so issue to the seed the order to grow downward. Then, to begin transformation. Yeah, I have no idea what to do here. This is super cool. I'm going to maybe play with this a little bit off camera and see if I can't figure out how to make it work. It is really neat. But we have another thing in theory. Wait, was I not down? I wasn't downloading the next thing. I totally wasn't. The Hackmatch ROM and emulator. Test your block matching metal against 4 wacky hackers. This is my favorite kind of hacker. This game wasn't super well known over here, but you might have seen or played a version for home console. That's why Last Call BBS is proud to bring you a perfect full arcade version of the game. The best version. Be warned, you need at least a Z5 Power Lance to run the emulator at an acceptable frame rate. How big of a file are we talking about here? 2 minutes? What do we want to do for 2 minutes? I'm going to take another crack at this. The fancy solitaire game is what we're going to do for 2 minutes. Why is it the fancy solitaire game? I don't know. Well, this is pretty easy. These, how do we want to untangle these? I suppose I want to reveal this. So if we can put a couple of stacks together. This is way up here. This is way up here at the top of this pile. So it's going to be difficult to build this suit. This suit here with the sort of the white diamonds at the top of it also has 2 of its cards at the very top of stacks. So that's going to be a tricky one as well. What can we build? I don't remember how the rules work. If locking a stack on the tableau will unlock a free cell. So if I close one of these cells up here, it doesn't open that one. I have to lock one of these spaces. So that would certainly be my preference. This suit's mostly pretty available, but unfortunately it's locked underneath 2 of these. So if I do this, these cards are going to be up here for a really long time. And that would let me get these 4 together in a way that does let me open up. Yeah, I think it's a reasonable thing to do. So where do I want to put these together? Does it matter? I don't think it matters a ton. We definitely don't want it to be on either of these 2 spaces because we need to do this so that we can do this. Is that how I want to free this up? I guess it doesn't really matter which one of these 2. No, it matters a little bit because we're pretty close to being able to build the Charlie Brown suit. Which is what this is. Don't argue with me. You see it too. So if I put this up here, I can pull these out now. If I put this up there, this is going to be stuck for a while too. We're getting closer to freeing up more space here. So we do this. We do this. We have to start closing up these groups of 4. What I would really like to do is get access to this pile, the lower stuff on this pile. I mean, I think it's worth doing this, because we can now start pulling these out of the top of the puzzle. Now I need to get access to this thing. That's way in there, though. This is very awkward. So if I use these to close off one of those, that probably kills it, right? In fact, we might be dead already. I'm trying to plot a path forward from here, and I do not really know how to approach it. Okay. If we use these 4 to close off one of these spaces, we do immediately recoup the space. Or alternatively, we can put this here to do this. That's rough, though. Close this off, drop these over here. Do this to buy a little bit of room to work with. And then I put these over here. We're almost untangled, which is a really bad place to be. Almost is not our friend. There we go. Okay, we got through it. It is scary. It is a weirdly difficult solitaire game. Before the first time I set foot in Tokyo, the farthest I'd ever been from home was Chicago. So you can imagine how out of my depth I felt when I got there. No amount of reading a place is going to stand in for actually being in it. There was so much I didn't know, and that's exactly why Meredith was so amazing. Not only did she help me to be a little less of a fool in front of everyone, she also took the time to explain why things were that way, and she was never patronizing about it either. Suffice it to say, I learned a lot from her. Well, if I'm going to keep getting the story of this person's life by continuing to play solitaire, I say let's play some more solitaire. Okay. Where can we make a lot of headway quickly? Because, we want to open these up as fast as possible, right? So we need to peel away a stack. Yeah, okay. If we pull both of these onto this, and then this onto that, the orange cards go together. We have this looks like a face mask to me. I mean, evidence of the times and everything. Yeah, we can get this. We can do this. Okay, so let's pull these over to here, this over to there. And then I think we just use the 2 slots up here to hold these for the moment. While we... I had in my head a plan for how I was going to actually make this a closed 4. But how did I think I was going to get 2 cards deep into this? Well, okay, we can do this. That works. And so that'll open up our 3rd slot. Then we're not that far from being able to get these 4 together. And all we have to do is get this thing out of here to have another space to put them into. If I put this up here, we can pull this to this side, which gives us a spot where we can pull both of those down. Oh no, wait, these are not the same though. That's a little awkward. Oh, because this is two different cards. Hold on. Yeah, we put this up here. Do that. That lets us pull these two cards out of there, freeing up the two slots, which doesn't quite let me get anywhere, sadly. So let's see. I could pull this. We can pull this up to the top to let this move over to free the third one of these, to then free this one. Then that lets this move over. That's actually, I think that's going to work. I think that's going to free up this space. Right? We move this to here and this to here. This can go to there. That lets me do that, which lets me do this, which means we get our fourth cell open. How do I now take advantage of the fourth cell being open? We almost have this space available, right? That would be pretty cool. Alternatively, how would I do this? Where are the other... Here's one. And the others are all in this stack. Okay. If I do this, we can at least unlock some of these spaces. Gotten ourselves into a real position here. Because the fourth Charlie Brown is locked by the fourth one of these winged hammer things. Or is locked by the three winged hammer things, but the fourth winged hammer thing is locked by the Charlie Browns. The fourth one of these is up here. Where's the third one? 1, 2... There. The fourth one of these is at the top of that stack. Like, this is the thing we want next, right? How would we get it? We need to be able to pull one of these two down. But it's actually not trivial to do. Yeah, I got everything partially stacked up in a way that's really awkward. If I could get either of these two cards down, we'd be fine. But I think I can't. So we lose, I think. Let's take another crack at that. Now, obviously, it would be better to look ahead more. However, have you considered I'm incapable on account of my brain? So... where is the fourth T? 1, 2, 3... Oh, the fourth T is right there. Like, we can do this very easily. And then the Charlie Browns go together pretty simply, too. We unlock some space to work with. I think I want to do this so we can pull these down. The fourth T is not buried very deeply. Am I going to regret it if I do this? I don't think so. So we can do that. Then we can put these two suits fully together. And we could pull this up and let one of these close off, but if I do that, we have to be really careful not to leave ourselves with too little operating space, because we got in a lot of trouble last time because we only had 2 spots free up here, and you semi-frequently want to be able to move 3 of a card somewhere. So we're not going to be able to finish this one for a little while. I think this makes sense though, because doing this lets us build another whole suit. Also lets me do that. And if I'm willing to kill this, we actually get to... We don't have very many suits left. Like, all I have to do is keep successfully untangling. Just like close this, put that there to close this. Okay. Pull that down. That lets me put a third thing on here, which does that. And then we can do this, and we're good. Meredith left Sawayama after a while and moved to Kyoto. She didn't say why, but I'd hardly be the first to notice that being a foreign lady at a Japanese company in the 90s might not exactly be frustration-free. Also in the 2020s, you know. We kept in touch every so often, and she'd tell me about the new things she discovered, like these Kabufuda cards you're playing with now, which were inspired by Western card decks brought to Japan by the Portuguese in the 16th century. She decided she'd design a solitaire game out of them, just out of the blue like that. And, as you can see, she did. It strikes me I should be watching this, because we can probably start another download before the end of the episode. Let's try to push through for the last difficulty here. Starting with only 1 slot up here is going to require a pretty lucky deal of the cards. But also, we could totally just win because we got a lucky deal of the cards, which I feel like is the thing that happened in that last game. How to start building. So we have 3 of these together. Where's the 4th one's only there? We can probably get access to that. Okay, so how would I do this? We can go... We can do this. So if I put this up here, we can move this thing onto a stack that's on the table, which lets us put this here. And then I need to get rid of these, which I can't actually do. Yeah, we feel, at this point, fairly trapped, actually. I guess if I go going the other way allows me to pull this down, but it's not actually helpful, right? I guess I could use these to close up the last slot on the top and then pull this to the side, and then we'd have an open space down here, but I don't think we have anything we can do with it. Let's go back to the listing here and pull down Chip Wizard Professional. Something different from our usual fare. This download is a professional computer-aided design program for integrated circuits. You ask, Barkeep, why the heck is this on here? I say, why not? More to the point, this software package normally costs thousands of dollars, so go ahead, give it a spin and see what the big boys do with their machines. No software protection dongle required. Difficulty rating 4. Very curious what difficulty means in this context. We're definitely not going to be able to finish this suit in place. What if I just didn't have a plan? What if I just like did some stuff and I didn't have a plan while I was doing stuff? Can you imagine? Who would do such a thing? So if I put this up here to move that, we can then put the 4 of these together, but I can never retrieve this. I hate to do this, but like, I think it's our only path forward. It's just that I also think doing it has made us lose, but I'm not 100% certain of that. So if I move this to here, I mean, I want to move this off to open up a space. Is that a viable thing to do, though? I think the answer is almost, because we move this off of here, allowing us to like move these 3 into the open space, allowing us to move this other orange onto here, allowing us to move this onto there, and then we've still maintained having an open space, and we've managed to consolidate our cards considerably. But it doesn't quite let us get anywhere, does it? No, actually, that's not true. We can pull these over here, match that onto those 3, and then this actually will close one of these and open up a new cell. So we can make some forward progress from here. We just have to figure out where it goes. Actually, maybe we can't. We opened up a second cell, but all of our stacks have multiples of the same card type on them, which means that we would need, if that's the case, if every one of your cells is blocked by at least n matching cards, you need n spaces, you need n free cells open at the top in order to access any other cards. Right? Yeah, I think that's right, and that means we lose. And this is the last thing to download from the BBS, so the whole deal is on our hard drive now, live. We're going to try this one more time. Win or lose, this is going to be the last thing we do this episode. Well, I mean, if I win, obviously we'll read any text that we have earned from winning. Okay, so untangling. If we pull this to that space, we can move the orange thing. We can move whatever this is, the most wings. We can move the orange thing. But then we're stuck with this in place, and we can't get this one out of that top slot. The Charlie Browns are like extremely locked up this time. It's going to be very hard to close those. We can almost get this space open, and that's very frustrating. I wonder what percentage of these games are actually winnable. What percentage of deals. It could very well be the case that they, programmatically, unlike with a real card deck, it could very well be the case that they programmatically only give you deals that are beatable. Some of the messaging makes me think that's probably not the case. Well, hold on. Could we get this stack free? If I pull this card onto here, then we just put the Charlie Brown up in the free cell. This card can't go anywhere. Never mind. We can, if we had something to do with the Charlie Brown, we could then move this onto the, we're so close. We're so close to having a thread to pull at here. What other play do we have available that makes more sense? If I put this up here, we can move that and that. but we can't get through. I guess I could remove. Hold on. I do this. We can move this diamond piece somewhere else and then put this back down. That traps these two pieces completely. We would never be able to move these two until we get more cells open. However, or until we get another one of these revealed on one of the stacks, I guess. However, that might be okay, because we don't need either of these suits to open this column. So if we do like this, say, we don't need any of these suits to open this. Oh no, shit, right. Well, crap. If I pull this up here, we can move the face card. We can move the third one of these. We actually can almost access the Charlie Browns. Unfortunately, the face masks are all bound up as well. And we're going to have this card in our only free cell and be unable to remove it. This is a very difficult one to make headway on. If I put this up there, move the orange thing over, move this thing over, move the face card over. No, wait, move the face card this way? We can do some untangling. Right, so do this and then that. I think we're dropping stuff on the keyboard because I have idle hands. I can't stop playing with the objects on my desk. This is so close to being something, right? So we can move these oranges one way or the other. If I move the oranges over here, if we could figure out a way to pull this out of the free cell, then we could put this into it, and then we could drop a live stack here. Unfortunately, I think we can't. I don't think there's a way to do that. If I think that this card is really stuck, we can just move these cards over onto it. Does opening up the T's do much? Well, it lets me do this, which then gives me the ability to make these mobile. If I pulled the three of these over onto there, could we unearth any of this stuff? It'd be super helpful if we could. So if I pull these over to there, this over to here, move all of the diamonds onto this stack. We have this mutual trap thing again, where like this symbol is trapped by the diamonds on both sides, so we can't use either of them to free the other. It would be super helpful if we could get this card out of the cell. Maybe that's exactly what we do. Okay, if we do this, we can pull these down like that. Then this opens up one of our free cells. I think that's very good for us. Which way do I want this move to happen? I mean, we're in theory closer to opening up this one. Like if I pulled this here, how would we ever get this card out? I guess I could move this card to a free cell and then move the face card down. That card's going to be stuck in that free cell for a very long time. But maybe that's okay. Maybe we have the space to work around it. No, I think I do want to do it the other way, though. So if we do this, we can do that, and then that, and then that. We're getting mighty close to something here. But close is actually dangerous, right? The closer you are to closing off multiple suits, the harder it is to move things around. So, we have here two suits that could be, like, it looks pretty bad right now. We're in a situation where we have fewer free cells than we have cards of a suit on any of our stacks. But because we have a couple of 4s, we can collapse one of the 4s into eating one of these spaces. And if doing so allows us to make some headway, it would be cool. Like if I pop this, I will admit I am having a really hard time looking ahead enough to know if anything I'm ever doing is a good idea. So close that. King goes there. Orange goes there. Or orange goes here. They're the same move. And neither one of them is any good. And these cards are mutually locking the 4th of each other's suits. This stack is it's like a really big problem. I think we're doomed. All right, what if we do it the other way around? What if we move these two over to here to open up a space? The problem is we can get another set of 4 together, or we can get an open space. We cannot do both. If I move you down to here, we can move these 3 to there. We can move this to here. Then we can move these 3 over to there. Actually, that's pretty good. Yeah, okay, hold on. Open this up to let us consolidate some stuff. Now we have a set of 4 and a space to burn it in. It's got to be this, right? And then, well, hold on. Hold on. Don't get ahead of yourself there. Does this go the other way? I think so. Because then we can do this. Put this here. Open up the 4th cell. Get that down. And then kill the 3rd cell. Flip, flip, flip. Yeah, this is a win, right? You know the type of person who's curious about everything around them? Meredith was like that. We could take a walk down a random residential street and she'd point out the names of the trees and the birds in both Japanese and English. Sometimes I wonder if life could have gone a different way. Like, what if I'd stayed in Japan or something? Look, I'm not getting too personal for you, am I? I suppose this isn't the type of nostalgia you want, exactly. It's just that, for me, these computer memories are personal memories, too. They're one and the same. This is fascinating. This is a fascinating way to do this. So that is the last, assuming that these are in blocks related to the games, that is the last Kabufuda related story that we're going to get probably. Need to progress the dungeons and diagrams. This is so cool. I love Zachtronics. I love this thing in particular. And I'm very excited to see the couple of things we haven't yet played with. So this is going to be it for us for today. And thank you all so much for watching. I really thought I was going to end it closer to an hour this time. I find this very compelling. When you come back next time, tomorrow, we are going to be exploring the last couple of programs here, and then hopefully unlocking a heck of a lot more writing, because I am at this point very curious where this is all headed. So we'll see you then.